This is the fifth night at the roundtable, a podcast from 3 Pacific Islanders, sharing our views and the lens through which we see the world. I'm Sefa.
I'm Sila.
To the vast space of this, it is your favorite songstress, seamstress, mistress, mattress, all that in a bag of chips. And the chips are all popping in that, and we locking and popping, and we bopping. Lamah, hi.
Today, we are going to be talking about Erin Molan's comments on what she said on the radio station 2GB. The program was Continuous Call. She did a mockery imitation of pronouncing Pacific Islander names, and that's the situation. Initial thoughts, go ahead.
So initially I did not hear the whole thing. All I heard was that small sound bite, because that's the thing that was going viral, and where she goes the hullab, I can't even imitate it.
Muka, muka, fuka.
There you go. And so for me, when I originally heard it, I was just like, I want to hear it from what happened before then till the actual sound bite. So for me, I do understand that when it comes to a lot of different, with how we speak, there are certain things that are hard for us to say. It was probably hard for her to say. What I didn't appreciate was, for me, it felt like it was disrespectful.
I agree, because when she said it, she laughed.
Yeah.
And then she was like, what was the name?
And she was the only one laughing.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I think it was very disrespectful. You are a professional, and you're saying names in a game that is literally filled with a lot of Polynesian players. So the fact that you went on radio and disrespected the pronunciation of the names, I mean, sis, do better.
Even, because you know how, like, straight away when the soundbite came out on Twitter, it like lit up and people were saying, oh, all this stuff and whatnot. But the thing for me was, she didn't issue an apology until days later. And for me, I wanted to understand her reasoning behind, because for me, I'm like, I totally get it if you find it hard, but at least make an attempt and don't laugh about it. Like, that was just my...
But was it an actual... I thought it wasn't an apology, though.
No, she did.
So she issued a statement today saying that the Daily Mail and other news outlets they had taken things out of context, but two, she did apologize on the show.
Oh, okay.
Before it stopped. So she apologized on the show, she apologized in the press, and then she had to issue a clarification today. I think the news article was either printed today or yesterday. That's what she said, though. Doesn't mean that it's true, because no one's seen any evidence, but she's also filing a lawsuit of defamation against the Daily Mail for running that story, because they were the first. So that's the situation now. It does provide something interesting, because she's not free from scandal. Previously, she had presented Semi Radraja's situation with his wife, and she presented it in a way that made it seem like Semi was already guilty. That was point number one. She didn't apologize for that. She did fat shame another player, Dave Taylor. She did apologize for Dave Taylor, not for Semi. So it seems like she has a history of unprofessionalism.
Oh, because I was going to say, I don't think that's racist. Like, I don't think that would be racially provoked, because for me, I'm like, domestic violence, it's a big issue.
Yeah, and
like,
maybe
literally,
as a woman, she has a different perspective.
So for me, I would get why she wouldn't apologize for that. Not that I'm saying that he was guilty, but I get why she wouldn't back down from that issue. When it comes to the fat shaming, because it's something that's literally, I feel like it's offensive. So of course, I feel like her apologizing makes sense to me.
Because I'm kind of like just thinking back for when I was growing up. I have a really long name. And like there have been times where teachers, I remember my brother's teacher, this was back, I think I was in the 5th grade, and she pronounced our surname as Tutti Frutti. You know what I mean? And like, that's still stuck with me till now. Is it like for me, I feel as though as a Polynesian person, we're constantly trying to minimize our identity so that white people have it more easier.
I'm going to add on to that thought. So we asked you guys what your opinion was, and some of you came back with some really interesting thoughts. And there was one comment that kind of adds to that. I think she is unaware of her privilege and her racism. I think it's difficult for people who are the epitome of privilege to completely comprehend how hurtful offhand remarks can be, even when they are innocent. It can be confusing for them when they may hear others of their identifying race making fun or making light of things, but that usually comes from trying to make their shame palatable and is not an invitation for others to join. I shared that quote in addition to yours because that often is a mechanism that we use to try and laugh it off, to make the embarrassment palatable. Because I've had an experience like that where a teacher did mispronounce my name, not deliberately, but that did make everyone else kind of erupt with laughter. I've been called sushi, sofa at legitimate attempts, but it doesn't make the situation less awkward. I think I've just learnt to brush it off.
Yeah, like for me, I had a relative where, you know, we all lived in New Zealand. A few times it was hard for people to say our names. A lot of times it was easy because we have Polynesian teachers or Pacific Island teachers there. So when we moved over to Australia, the certain cousin, let's just say his name is Lamah Fofau, and the teacher said it was too hard, so she gave him the pretend name of Jason. Until this day, these are made up names. I'm putting it in place of his actual name and the name that he now takes. But for me, I was just like, that name, Jason, has nothing to do with your name. But she gave it to him because it was too hard for her to say, and it was replacing it with something that was easier. But at the same time, for me, I know in our Pacific Island community, I know of plenty of people who have given, like missionaries in Samoa, for example, if their name is, like for example, Goldberg. When he went and served in Tonga, he then became Golipoki. So for me, it can be used in the reverse situation as well, where it becomes easier for our people to use a name if it's said in the island way, if that makes sense. But then that's usually the I should say direct translation, but the Samoan version of the name.
There's a petition out to fire her. There is like name calling. Like one of your responses was she a hoe.
Look.
And oi, I'm gonna name and shame who this
No,
person
don't
is.
say
Sorry,
it.
what's wrong
Don't
with
say
her
who
then?
it is.
Like,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. We do not shame people's choices with how they are sexually. Up to her, however she lives her life. The thing for me is, just in my opinion, I honestly don't understand why she's on the show. I tweeted this earlier. To be on the footy show, you usually have to have played footy. She has never played footy. And there are plenty of women that have. Like, I'm sure there's still now Jillaroos or retired Jillaroo players, females who have played the game. So for me, it makes sense if they were on the footy show. But I mean, in my opinion, she's on there because she's a pretty woman and she has a background in journalism. But that doesn't make sense to me.
You know, cancel culture these days, like, it's very toxic. I don't agree with the cancelling of her career per se, because I think we should give people the opportunity to learn from their mistakes and then grow from it. Like, how are we supposed to move forward as people if we just cancel someone and then, like, throw them to the side? That doesn't really show any growth. You know, I want her to know, okay, I was hurt. Like, what actions are you going to take from now? I don't want to, like, say I'm hurt, go away. Like, I want to see that growth.
But she's not the only one. Like, I've watched games and I've heard commentators, like, literally, like, slaughter our surnames. And I remember Crit, he did a feature in a video on how to pronounce Polynesian Islander names a few years ago. So for me, it's not something that she's done. It's been done quite a few times. And I think something that didn't sit right with me with her apology statement was when she said our game.
Yep. Yeah.
When did league belong to you?
This is the thing I'll clarify. It's usually how commentators speak as commentators. They say, oh, our boys are out here today, regardless of what team they are. So for the sake of being fair to her, the context of that, I don't think she meant our game as in, like, it's an Australian game. She meant when you're in that community, you say our. You say, oh, those are our boys that are out there. That's how like Phil Gould does it, Sterlo does it. So if she meant it in that way, I can see it being that way.
Okay. Well, just for me, I think, and I don't just mean Erin, I remember they even made a video before where they said the funniest names in the NRL, and they were literally...
Wait, is this for real?
No, and I remember thinking it was an ad, but it was a segment on the footy show, and they were all literally names of people that were coloured in the NRL. So for me, I'm just like, just because it's not easy for you, but you don't make a complaint about the name Schwarzenegger, you don't make a complaint about the name, there are so many Euro names, but they make an attempt to pronounce it.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for jumping in and helping, like, represent the Polynesian community and all that stuff, but the people who need to be saying this the loudest are the NRL players. I'm not for trying to help and represent somebody that doesn't care about it themselves. If this means that much, and if they really do take 42% of the NRL,
I think it's
45%, that's enough people to have a loud enough voice to make a difference. Not everybody else trying to defend the culture.
One of the other responses that I liked was they said, in my opinion, the pronunciation of our surname should be something that is taken seriously. It's our heritage and ultimately our identity. If you're in a profession where you analyze athletes and discuss statistics, and a little 90% of the athletes she analyzes are Polynesians, it's part of your job and professional courtesy to learn how to pronounce the names of those you analyze. I read some don't know what that says, say we must respect the Aussie joking culture. But it's like, wait, do we respect the joking culture, or who do you think created it? Don't know how that makes sense. Anyways, the joking culture suits them when they want it to suit them. It's only a joke when Erin makes fun of our surnames, but it's not funny when we say your ancestors are thieves. And mic drop.
I mean, I found it offensive, but I didn't find it racist. I just found it offensive and insensitive. I didn't see it as a personal attack on Polynesian culture to me. I didn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm feeling some sort of way now. I remember there was this time when I was trying to think of an Instagram name, but because Shalama was taken, I don't know how Shalama was taken, but it was taken.
Like the band.
It was taken. So I was very conflicted with using my full name, which is Shalama Takalua. It is super long. And I remember I was talking to one of my work moms at work, and I was asking her about this. She was like, oh, I want to, like, should I do Shalama.t? And I remember specifically, she looked at me, she said, no, you use your full name. You make people remember your name. That really got to me, because I think growing up, I was not ashamed of my name, but I was always constantly trying to I felt like I was hiding my identity because I didn't want to use my full name. It was hard for people to understand. It was hard for people to pronounce. And that really stayed with me until like now. Like, I use my full name for everything that I do. I'm very proud of my full name. My grandpa comes from a family of, he's the only man, and then the rest of his siblings are sisters. And then when he came and had children, he ended up having 5 boys and 1 girl. So like the fact that my grandpa's name is now being able to be carried off into so many like little stems of different people, like I'm so proud of that. When I was looking at this, like it reminded me of why I should be proud of my name and why I should take pride with my, the history that my name carries. And I'm really proud of that. So sis, again, do better.
Okay, next headline. Netflix and HBO has removed the following shows from their service. Anything that Chris Lilly has made, Little Britain, The Mighty Boosh, and Gone with the Wind. That was a headline, and this was in direct response to what's happening around the world with Black Lives Matter. Go.
Okay, look. I love Summer Heights High. Like, when Summer Heights High came out, when we went to New Zealand, we bought the DVD and took it, and us and our cousins, we like bonded over it. Like, to me, I think it's so funny. Like, still now, I think it's really funny.
I think it's really funny too. It's funny. I was thinking about this today, and I was like, why did I really like Summer Heights High? For me, I felt like it was one of the first representations of seeing Polynesian people in media. I mean, I guess in a younger sense, because a lot of them are younger. Aside from that, I remember there was like that cartoon.
Brotown?
Yeah.
It's New Zealand. It's New Zealand though.
Like, yeah. And that's why I really liked it at the time. But now that I think about it, like, this is a white man who's reduced the Tongan culture to a very small stereotype, but has exaggerated it to a point where it's kind of like making fun of people. So I understand why people are very, why it's very problematic. But does that mean I'm problematic because I still like it?
I understand the viewpoint in taking it that way, but I don't see it being, I think because it is singular and it stands on its own, I don't see Summer Heights High being, oh, this is how all Polynesians are. I never took it that way because I don't think Jamie is an accurate representation of all private schoolgirls. I don't think Mr. G is an accurate representation of all drama teachers.
He is. Welcome to Mr. G's room, G's room, G's room. Welcome to Mr. G's room, come inside.
Come on, Celine.
But yeah, no. But you get what I mean. I don't. For me, like it's an exaggeration, but that's skit shows. They're all an exaggeration. The fact that it was just one that happened to be Pacific Islander. I'm not saying that it's an honor to be a part of that show. No way. I'm just saying he was looking for a different kind of story. I didn't find it particularly offensive. There are times where I definitely acted like him in high school. So I can relate, but then I also can detach enough where I didn't find it particularly personally offensive.
But do you think this gives people a leeway of like, oh, well, he did Mrs. G like me as someone who is not Polynesian, or let me pretend to be a Polynesian person?
And that did happen. Like I found that after Summer High Tide, there were a lot more people that felt like they could freely be able to imitate us and they found it funny. And for me, I didn't find that funny. And so I get how problematic that could be. Like Sefa was saying, I think because we are part of our community, we know that us as Pacific Islanders, we come in different forms, some of like different ways of thinking and feeling and speaking. So for me, when it comes to Jonah, we understand that we're not all like him, but the rest of Australia doesn't. Like the benefits of white privilege is when you do something, your whole people don't get painted with the same brush. When we do something, for some reason we do. And so with Jonah, I noticed that a lot of people push the racial stereotype that Pacific Islanders aren't smart, that they come from violent homes, that their parents are detached, and that they bully. But that is not a fact. Oh, that we all dance and we're all musical. Majority of us do dance.
And then we all speak like a certain way.
And I'm just like, but that isn't true. And so I think that's where I get, okay, I see the problem with it.
This is one of the responses that I found was what Netflix can do is fund more indigenous content and creators and put it front and center. Enough with reactionary responses. Removing content doesn't empower the next generation. Make something that does. Put your money up. And I like that response. I don't think the response should have been to take it down. Just show more kinds of content, because I find that there's a new movement now with the Asian Americans. They're putting way more content now, and they're putting them at the forefront so that they have different representation other than Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Because in regards to like mainstream big time movies, there's only martial arts films. But now on Netflix itself, there are romantic comedies. There's a coming of age movie. Korean dramas are becoming way more prominent now, like in regards to media consumption. I just think more content of different kinds, not taking down the Chris Lilly one.
Like, and I think that's something that we were talking about earlier. The Australian media is not an accurate representation of the reality of our society. Like when I lived in New Zealand, because I was obsessed with Home and Away, and I honestly thought that that's what Australia looked like, that they're all white and that everyone lives close to the beach. Coming here, it is a melting pot of different cultures. And so when you see the media, a lot of people overseas automatically assume, I remember when we were in New York, and we told the cab driver that we were from Australia, and he goes, "Stop lying." Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have taken accents. But I remember because everyone thinks that people in Australia are white, blonde, blue-eyed, but it isn't. And so for me, I love that if we push for more shows to show an accurate portrayal of Australian society, for example, Redfern Now, I love it. It shows the different kinds of people that exist within that culture. I think people and our society will also get a better idea of how we are and how we function.
I would love to see more cultural content within Australian media.
I would love to see a show where it literally shows all the different cultures we have in one setting. Does that make sense? Like, for example, like on SBS and ABC, they will show shows like, for example, there was Mob Time for Kids, where it's all Indigenous Aboriginal people. And then they will have like different shows where it's just like one group, one race. But I would love to show, because like literally when we went to school, I know for sure our friend groups were mixed. Here in Australia, they're always mixed. Apart from the areas where it's a small community of you, so usually you tend to stick together. So for me, that's an accurate portrayal of Australian society, is usually we're a mixed group of people. So I would love to see that as well.
That'd be awesome. Did we have any other responses?
Yeah. One of the responses about, some high tide and whatnot was, I'm for it being removed. I think too long we have been conditioned to accept things outside of our control, whereas now there's volume behind a collective voice calling out racial pressure points in entertainment. There will be those that try and make out that this is overkill though, which is true. A lot of people have been saying that this has been pushed because of the BLM movement, with the Black Lives Matter movement. So what are our thoughts on that?
Doesn't this go off the cuff of what you were just saying about drowning out this type of media with content created by our people.
Yeah, I agree. I think with him, maybe the idea hasn't been introduced in regards to promoting more content, but for him, he was just for removing it. But what do you think about the racial pressure points, Lamah?
In what do you mean?
To be honest, I don't know.
Because I find that...
To be honest, you referenced me, and I was like, I wasn't ready. So can you not talk to me?
In the words of Pauline Hanson, please explain. And so I think, like, for example, because they said it in reference as well to the Erin Molan as well. The response was, if it wasn't for the Black Lives Matter movement, this wouldn't be that deep. And so I noticed that seems to be the response to both of these different situations where they feel that this whole push with Black Lives Matter has pushed other things when it's come to different countries. For example, the push for, for more representation in media, in society, in government. We need more representation of the different kinds of people that are in the country.
It's about time.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel.
And we've been seeing, like, across social media, there's been a lot of companies that are coming out. A lot of people are being called out. And it's about time.
Leah Michelle.
And that's that on that. Facts are facts, and that's a fact.
What are you saying? What are you struggling for? You know you want to play this.
GAMES games. It's game segment. It's segment for the games and games. Oh yeah.
Okay, so the game we're playing is Song Association, and because I was on the
What
Put
is
It Together,
that?
I cannot play.
What song association?
So Song Association is I will pick one of these cards, one of these folded pieces of paper. I will read the word, and you have to sing a line from a song, but it has to be the full line, and we have to be able to Google it. I can tell if it's made up.
How?
Because I will see it in your face, and both your faces.
No, don't
I'm
look
an
at
actress.
Me. You just need to look at Lamar.
I'm an
I will
actress.
see it
Lamar
in
is
both
the worst
your
culprit of making
eyes.
stuff up.
So
I'm an actress.
I'm going to read the word. You have to sing a whole line from a song. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, is it a competition?
Yes, it's a competition.
Oh, so it's whoever goes first.
Yeah, whoever goes first between you and Sefa.
Oh my gosh. Hold
Okay,
on. I just need to fix my mic.
Okay. And you have to sing it. You get extra points if it's in tune. Okay, are you ready? The first word is non-binary.
Oh, I love the song. Every time I cry, it's because I can fly. I'm non-binary. Yeah.
Right, cancelled. So no one gets a point.
Was that the
that was
one
the
word?
one word. I told you guys there was a trick word. I told you.
No, the fact that he rhymed cry with fly with non-binary.
I mean, I told you, I'm an actress.
Next word is take.
Take on me.
Take on me.
Take
So it's cancelled.
me home.
Okay.
Wow. Actually, no, I'm going to give that to Lamar. That was really good.
Thank you.
That's Lamar. Okay. Next word is baby.
Baby.
Oh.
No, you haven't said something else. I saw that. You went off of me. I saw you.
If you harmonized, you would have gotten the extra points, but you didn't. So no one gets it.
It was like, baby.
I honestly thought you were going to do the hit me, baby.
That's what I was going for, but
Yeah,
I
I thought
was
so.
in the tune of baby, one more time.
Wow, like Britney
So I'm
Spears
winning.
from Community.
Am I winning?
With your
Yes, you're winning,
genius
Lamar.
bottle.
Next word is away.
Home and away.
Lamar.
Man, that was good. That was good.
Together,
Oh, yeah.
you and I forever and ever.
Calm your farm.
Next word is die.
Somebody to die for. Sam Smith. Look it up. It's his new song.
Is that the
I
whole
believe
line?
you.
That's the only line I know.
Okay.
I'll give that.
I'll give that. Next word is dream.
Dream lover, come rescue me. Take me up, take me down.
Take me home.
I said take me down.
Take me high, take me low, take me everywhere you want to go.
Is that the lyrics?
No. That is not the words.
As a diehard Mariah fan.
It's as one of the lambs. As one of Mimi's lambs.
Oh, is that her fan base?
Yeah,
like your mattresses.
Yeah.
Mattress. Okay, next word is boy.
Boy, I can see you been crying and you needed somebody to talk to.
Disney show.
Why?
Know your lyrics. The confidence.
No, the thing is though, he confused me because I had a good song.
If I were a boy.
Too late. Doesn't count.
Sefa, you can redeem.
Baby boy, you stay on my mind, fulfill my.
But that's flat.
I tell y'all.
Get the point.
Oh, you got me going, lover.
All that choreography is wow. Okay. Next word is heart.
Hit me for wherever your heart.
I know.
I believe that the heart does go on. That's right.
Yeah,
the song's right. He just,
No, he placed the word in the wrong place. Nah.
The heart does go on.
Go to Mark, go.
Once more.
Oh, the key change.
Because
Yeah. What? Then I mean,
because of the trills.
I'm
you
half
get-
German,
yeah.
half Chinese.
Wow, the vocal gymnastics, 10 points. Okay, so right now it's 3-3.
Ooh.
Next word is back.
Baby got back. My neck. My back.
My
But you gotta put your back into it. Then
Just do it. Right.
Do it good. Lick my, just like you should.
All right, and so Lamar gets that for 3.
That was way too fast, Lamar.
Next word is girl.
Girl,
I can tell you've been crying.
I'm your girl. You're my girl.
No, wait, why did you answer him?
He sang it first.
No, we both sang it together.
No, he sang it first.
No.
I heard it. Is it your ears that are the judge?
He's the loudest.
I'm the judge. Relax.
Fine, last
your
one
ass.
wins.
Look,
Make
you
it
know
this
what?
last one.
I want to give this a Sefa.
Yes.
Because I'm a
So
really
it's a
nice
pity
person.
one?
I'm not
Pretty
above.
point.
I'm not above that.
Okay, last one.
Last one wins.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, bye, bye, bye, bye. Don't
When
wanna
you
be
run
a
off
fool
the
for you.
Just
Just
another
another player in the game or two.
You may hate me, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
Wait, what you-
Oh, bye, bye.
Okay, you win. All right.
Wait, why does he win? I said a third.
Because I said extra points for the vocal
Yeah.
gymnastics.
Yeah, but he didn't get the initial point, so it
You
can't
didn't
be
even have
extra on
Corey.
something of
If you want to
zero.
add Corey
I did it.
now,
I was a
add
puppet. I was a puppet.
Oh wow! Look, the ventriloquist on
You know what? I'm
point.
gonna give that to Sefa. That was a really good
Okay,
puppet.
another pretty one. And so that was our game for today.
Oh my gosh, I won.
No, you didn't. Sefa won because of all the pretty points you
love
gave him.
that. Oh,
So
good.
congratulations, Sefa.
Woo!
You are the Song Association winner.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
was fun.
Way fun. And it's really hot in here.
I know.
Is it?
I think because of all the, the high and the rush from performing and hearing you guys perform. Like, I'm totally in awe
Thank you.
of the talent that I am privileged to be here and listen to and be with.
I'm glad that you're recognizing your
Thank
privilege
you.
to be in my presence.
Make sure that you really take care of yourself because I know it's
Okay.
overwhelming to
It
be
is.
in this presence.
Like, I don't know how to handle this. Like,
Journaling.
ecotherapy. Like, this is just so overwhelming. Like, I'm just totally in awe
You
of
know,
you two.
when I'm overwhelmed, what I like to do is, so I like to sit in place and I like to make up a song. So, like, just give me a word.
A word, non-binary.
N-O-N-B-I-N A-O-Y.
A-O-Y.
Make me cry. Non-binary.
Non-binary.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And it really calms me down.
Sefa, did you want to battle him with another word? I really think that you could do it.
Sefa, word and yes, make up
Sefa,
one.
the word is gymnastics.
Gymnasty.
Wait. The word was gymnastics, not gymnaste.
So you're going to pull me up for that, but you're going to pull him up for non-binary?
Non-binary still passes. Okay, gymnaste, you've totally changed the word.
Okay, just hear me out.
Okay.
Gymnasty, looking tasty.
Ooh.
Even though you're pasty.
Hey, I love that. That was Sila's butt cheeks.
That was so good.
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
like, this is what I mean. Like, thank you so much for blessing me tonight.
Fun.